Education plays a large part in the socialization of children into society. Most children spend the required 180 days each year in school from the first grade through high school. Most of a child's day through these years is devoted to activities involving school, such as attending classes, doing homework and participating in extracurricular activities. The school format is designed to teach children to be productive members of society. Schools bear most of the responsibility of preparing young people for the working environment. Children learn punctuality, time management, and to respect the authority of the teacher, which prepares them to respect their boss. The curriculum also plays an important role. A class in civics teaches a child to be a good Indian, and a class in home economics teaches a child how to operate a household. Most socialization, however, occurs beyond the curriculum. Extracurricular activities such as student parliament, being a part of a school newspaper, or being in a business club provide anticipatory socialization for adult jobs. Children spend much time with their peers while at school, and peers are a very important agent of socialization. Adolescents tend to choose friends that are similar to them in race, social class and interest. Students use their reference group as a way to measure self-worth. Education and deviance have a close relationship. The education system serves several different purposes in regard to deviance. Foremost, education is a deterrent for deviance. Children learn very early about crime and punishment. They learn it in the curriculum, but they also learn it in a practical way. They are punished for cheating, fighting and other deviant behaviors. Therefore, the education system plays a vital role in social control by producing compliant citizens that understand what deviance is and how to avoid it. Although education is used as a tool to deter deviance, it can unknowingly perpetuate it as well. Equality. Liberty and equality are two most valuable rights of the people. These constitute two basic pillars of democracy. The French revolutionaries demanded liberty along with equality and fraternity. The French Declaration of Rights categorically stated, men are born and always continue to be free and equal in respect of their rights. The preamble of the Indian Constitution defines equality as one of the four basic objectives of the Indian polity, the other three being justice, liberty and fraternity. The meaning of equality. Equality does not mean absolute equality. In common usage, equality is taken to mean full equality of treatment and reward for all. It is demanded as natural equality. It is said that all men are born natural and free. However, despite a strong emotional appeal to our hearts, the notion of natural and absolute equality of all cannot be fully accepted and realized. Men are neither equal in respect of their physical features nor in respect of their mental abilities. Some are stronger, others weaker, and some are more intelligent and capable than others. Their capacities and abilities are different. As such, equality of treatment and rewards cannot be ensured. Rewards must depend upon the actual abilities and work of various people. Hence, equality does not mean absolute and total equality. Equality really means equal opportunities for development. In fact, when we talk of equality of all men, we really mean general and fair equality and not absolute equality. We really talk of a fair distribution of opportunities, reward and not equal reward for all. Equality means absence of all unnatural and unjust inequalities. In society, there are present two types of inequalities: natural inequalities and man-made unnatural inequalities. The former means natural differences among human beings. These have to be accepted by all. The man-made inequalities are those which are there because of some social conditions and discriminations. These are of the nature of socio-economic inequalities resulting from the operation of social system. The discriminations practiced and inequalities maintained in the name of caste, color, creed, religion, sex, place of birth and the like are all unnatural man-made inequalities. Equality means end of all such inequalities and discriminations. The definitions of equality. D.D. Rafal defines equality as the right to equality. Proper is a right of equal satisfaction of basic human needs, including the need to develop and use capacities which are specifically human. Lasky defines it as equality means that no man shall be so placed in society that he can overreach his neighbor to the extent which constitutes a denial of later citizenship. Equality in education. According to Kothari Education Commission, equality in educational opportunity means making available of good quality education to all, irrespective of sex, caste, community, race, religion and residence. To equalize educational opportunities to all in India, some drastic measures are important. They are: uniform pattern of education. A scheme of uniform pattern of education should be implemented across the country in all schools. As a first step towards nationalizing all education institutions in the country, government should grant liberal grants to all schools and enforce uniform pattern of curriculum and ensure almost comparable standards in all schools. Common school system for public education. The major weakness of the present educational system is, instead of providing good education to all children, or at least to all the able children from every stratum of society, it is available to a small minority which is usually selected not on the basis of talent but on the basis of the capacity to pay fees. The children of the masses are compelled to receive substandard education. If this evil is to be eliminated, we must move towards the goal of a common system of public education. Removal of regional imbalances. Imbalances in the educational progress among the states are to be eliminated. For example, Kerala has a higher proportion of budgetary allocation for education compared to that states like Orissa and Bihar. The union government at the center should make available special financial package for educationally backward states. Removal of the urban-rural differences in education. Schools in larger number are to be opened in rural areas and good standard should be maintained in these schools comparable to that in urban schools. Importance for girls' education. Educational and employment facilities for girls should be expanded so that they could compete with men in all walks of life on equal terms. Schools for the handicapped. Special schools for the education of the handicapped should be opened at least one in every taluk. Education of the weaker sections in society. Scheduled castes and tribes are educationally backward and suffer from bad socio-economic conditions of life. More number of schools is to be opened in hill areas as well as urban slums, facilitating the education of the weaker sections of the society. Abolition of tuition fees. In a phased manner, education at all stages should be made free. To start with, primary education should be made completely free, and then this scheme of free education could be extended to secondary and higher education levels. Our country should not lose not even one student who is unable to pay the school fees and continue his education. Liberal scheme of scholarships. A liberal scheme should be formulated to grant scholarships and financial assistance for meritorious poor students. Through banks, educational loans at nominal interest should be made available for needy students at the higher education level. compulsory education up to the secondary stage. We should quickly move to the stage of making education free and compulsory till the secondary level throughout the country. Authority. The exercise of authority is a constant and pervasive phenomenon in the human society. Human society maintains itself because of order, and it is the authority that serves as the foundation of social order. It is wrong to assume that authority is purely a political phenomenon. In fact, in all kinds of organizations, political as well as non-political, authority appears. Every association in society, whether it is temporary or permanent, small or big, has its own structure of authority. The definition of authority. According to E. A. Shields, authority is that form of power which orders or articulates the actions of other actors through commands which are effective because those who are commanded regard the commands as legitimate. Max Weber used the term authority to refer to legitimate power. In simple words, it can be said that authority refers to power which is regarded as legitimate in the minds of followers. Weber's notion of authority does not imply that power is legitimate and that illegitimate power plays no role in society. Weber only argued that legitimacy is a general condition for the most effective and enduring manifestations of power. Still, this legitimacy may take different forms and different justifications. Authority in education. India, as one of the largest higher education systems in the world, primarily dominated by private players who account for 60% of the total institutes and 64% of the total enrollment of students. The higher education sector in India has a three-tier structure comprising the university, college and course. This forms a vital link with the regulatory structure and with accreditation agencies playing the key role in maintaining quality and standards in this sector. The regulatory framework of the sector in India is multi-layered. At the last chain of delivery, the classroom, three sets of regulations operate: university, college and council as per the course. There are significant entry, operation and exit barriers at each level, and studying the regulatory environment at each of these levels will provide the complete picture. Universities awarding their own degrees are classified into 5 types based on their management: Central University, State University, Private University, institutions deemed to be a university and institute of national importance. Colleges award degrees in the name of the university to which they are affiliated. In addition, 15 professional councils like MCI and AICTE regulate the courses run by the colleges and universities. The University Grants Commission (UGC) acts as the overarching regulatory body. A private institute granted the status of deemed to be a university by the central government on the recommendation of the UGC. There are 2 types of institutions which are granted the status of deemed to be universities: the general category institutions and de novo category institutions. General route applies to institutions with 15 years of standing and evidence of excellent academics and research. The de novo route is adapted by new institutions that are subjected to comply with more stringent entry barriers in terms of infrastructural and academic requirements, while enjoying more operational and academic freedom than private universities. A private college affiliated to a government university. Private colleges affiliated to a government university enjoy the least freedom in terms of administration and academics. Each university has its own set of distinct rules for granting affiliation, though the process of doing so is fairly similar among all universities. Private colleges cannot start admission without first seeking affiliation. Different regulatory bodies such as Medical Council of India (MCI), All India Council for Technical Education (AICTE) and the Bar Council India (BCI), among others, manage different professional courses. There are 2 accrediting institutions, namely National Board of Accreditation (NBA) established by AICTE and National Assessment and Accreditation Council NAAC established by UGC. UGC Regulations 2012 mandate that all higher educational institutions be accredited by an accreditation agency. Let us now discuss about the conflict theory. Conflict theory assumes that the ideas held by a society are the ideas of the ruling class. The ruling class uses schools along with the media and other means of communication to disseminate ideas that will support its continued rule. Given this assumption, the conflict perspective often focuses on the role school systems may play in influencing public opinion or implementing social control. Social control refers generally to societal and political mechanisms or processes that regulate individual and group behavior, leading to conformity and compliance to the rules of a given society, state or social group. Schools can further goals of social control by socializing students into behaving in socially acceptable ways. Some may consider this type of socialization a form of indoctrination. In any case, the social values that are present in individuals are products of informal social control. It is exercised by a society without explicitly stating these rules and is expressed through customs, norms and mores. Individuals are socialized consciously or subconsciously. Enforcement. Social control may be enforced using informal sanctions which may include shame, ridicule, sarcasm, criticism and disapproval. In extreme cases, sanctions may include social discrimination and exclusion. For example, schoolmates may enforce gender norms by ridiculing boys who undertake actions considered feminine, such as writing poetry or dancing. Informal sanctions can have a powerful effect. Individuals internalize the norm, which becomes an aspect of personality. Social control may also be enforced using formal sanctions. Formal sanctions may be used in a large group in which an individual can choose to ignore the sanctions of other individuals. This form of control usually takes the form of government action. Government and organizations use law enforcement mechanisms and other formal sanctions such as fines and imprisonment. In schools, formal sanctions may include detention, suspension or other formal punishments. By means of social control, students are taught the boundaries of acceptable behavior. They carry these lessons with them into everyday life and later into careers. Thus, the social control lessons learned in school may prepare students, for example, to be a docile proletariat in a capitalist economy. Social change. Change implies all variations in human societies. When changes occur in the modes of living of individuals and social relation gets influenced, such changes are called social changes. Social change refers to the modifications which take place in life pattern of people. It occurs because all societies are in a constant state of disequilibrium. The word change denotes a difference in anything observed over some period of time. Hence, social change would mean observable differences in any social phenomena over any period of time. Social change is the change in society, and society is a web of social relationships. Hence, social change is a change in social relationships. Social relationships are social processes, social patterns and social interactions. These include the mutual activities and relations of the various parts of the society. Thus, the term social change is used to describe variations of any aspect of social processes, social patterns, social interaction or social organization. Social change may be defined as changes in the social organization, that is, the structure and functions of the society. Whenever one finds that a large number of persons are engaged in activities that differ from those which their immediate forefathers were engaged in some time before, one finds a social change. Whenever human behavior is in the process of modification, one finds that social change is occurring. Human society is constituted of human beings. Social change means human change, since men are human beings. To change society, as says Davis, is to change man. Theorists of social change agree that in most concrete sense of the word change, every social system is changing all the time. The composition of the population changes through the life cycle, and thus the occupation or roles changes. The members of society undergo physiological changes. The continuing interactions among members modify attitudes and expectations. New knowledge is constantly being gained and transmitted. Educational inputs for social change in India. Education is an important instrument to bring social revolution among all the instruments. Education is considered as the most powerful. Education for all, at all levels and at all ages of children, is the only remedy to bring about the desired social change in Indian society. The relationship between education and social change takes a dual form: education as an instrument and education as a product. This implies that education as an instrument is used as a means for bringing about desired changes in the society, and in the later case, changes in the educational structure follows as a consequence of changes which have already taken place in the society. Education as a necessary condition of social change. Historical experience of advanced countries has shown that for any social revolution, education is the precondition. Illiterates remain satisfied with their existing conditions and feel that they are destined to be what they are. They never bother to exert to bring change in their present social and economic conditions. They are guided by orthodoxy, traditions and fate rather than by rationality in their actions. Education helps people to make them rational in their thinking and approach. Education as an outcome of social change. There is interdependent relationship between education and social change. On the one hand, it brings change in social conditions. On the other hand, it is influenced by social change, which means social change helps spreading education. Education follows social change. It has its place before and after social change. First come social changes and then teaching process is changed according to those social changes. Education system changes according to the needs of society. Education as an instrument of social change. How education helps people to bring social change. Education changes the outlook and the tradition approach towards social and economic problems. It sharpens the skills and knowledge of the children. Dear viewers, in this lesson, we have seen so far about the societal context of education in terms of equality, authority, conflict and change. Thank you.